Hi, everyone. It's Sarah, and I just wanted to take a quick minute before we start the episode with Adriana and Allie today to tell you that as of right now, the paperback version of These Summer Storms is on shelves. Wherever you get your books, you can get this wonderfully floppy, if you listen to the podcast, you know I love a floppy paperback. It's floppy and perfect and exactly what you want to throw into your beach bag for a summer read. It also, the first printing of this special paperback comes with sprayed edges in this gorgeous blue with a wave motif, and the book also comes with a book club discussion guide. So if you've been waiting to read Storms because you wanted it in paperback, or if you have been talking to your friends about doing a book club about Storms, now's the time to do it. I wrote the questions myself, so I'm really excited to hear the discussions that come from them. And I am so grateful, as always, for all of you for supporting the podcast and supporting my writing. Now, on with the show. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for all the things that we have to get through today because we have like a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of content to cover.
There's some big ground to
I'm going to let Sarah be the classroom teacher on this one, but just know already I am like, oh boy,
I'm ready.
Oh boy.
We already have said save it for the pod like 6 times and we haven't even started recording. But I'm very excited because it's Omegaversity Redux, except it's really not. But we have Adriana Herrera and Allie Hazelwood with us again to talk about historical romance, a big project that we're all sort of working on, something that's going to make Fated Mates listeners really excited, historical romance. But first things first, I want to just for a moment revisit Omegaversity. Well, actually, first things first, welcome everyone to Fated Mates. I'm Sarah McLean. I read romance novels and I write them.
And I'm Jennifer Prokop, a romance reader and editor. Introduce yourselves, friends.
We're here with AH2, Adriana Herrera.
Hello.
And Allie Hazelwood.
Hello. I consider myself, my title is Omegaverse expert. Thank you.
I'm glad somebody is, because Sarah's about to tell you a story about where we are.
So listen, I feel like we took the class, Jen.
We did. We took the class. I took notes.
If any of you missed it, 2 New Year's Eves ago, Adriana and Allie joined us.
I think it was 3.
Was it 3?
Well, because we did milking, and then we did breeding. And I think Omegaversity was 3 ago.
All important topics.
Omegaversity led us into breeding, which feels right.
Correct.
And breeding into milking, which
just
absolutely
a clear progression.
Absolutely.
Listen, trust me though, everybody. Next year's New Year's Eve will in no way be babies. Not gonna happen.
No.
It's a mamushka doll, really, of topics. A nesting doll of.
But what is the pearl at the center of
no,
the matriarch?
You're so wrong for that.
Oh, the pearl. That's what's next. Just
I was gonna say it's gotta be semen.
Buckets
of cum.
No,
it's gotta be semen.
It's too much. So okay. But here's the deal. I genuinely believe that I am a fairly good student, in the world, and I've taken this Omegaversity class from the experts, and I took good notes. And then Kayla Gross, who is one of our very favorites here at Fated Mates, released last week an Omegaverse novel, which is MMMFM. That's the order of the letters. And under the name Kaylin. And I was like, I'm going to read this because I love Kayla Gross and I feel prepared for Omegaverse. I open this book, I start reading it, and about a third of the way through, I took a screenshot. It's very hot. Lots of sex, lots of heat, lots of, throbbing, wanting,
breeding, orgasms,
nodding.
Okay.
Just a lot of talk about breeding. She's a movie star, so she's on birth control, but a lot of discussion of breeding, right? There's a nest involved. There's a lot happening. And I'm like, okay. And about third third of the way through, I take a screenshot of like 2 paragraphs that are like about nodding heat, her omega, his prime alpha, the nest, the whole thing. And I send it to Jen, and I was like, are we sure that they're not werewolves?
They're not.
But
Because I
are
still
everybody,
don't
but
understand.
they are. Like, you have to understand. I've never read one of these and not been like, okay, but when is the moon gonna?
But they're gonna shift, right?
They're everything about them is werewolfy, except there's no shifting.
But-
there's no
Yes.
shape shifting.
Okay.
Yeah, precisely.
But why?
And I,
But why
Because
though?
really, you're there for the. I mean,
also biting. There's marking.
there's scent marking
sense,
for
there's-
sure.
It's just everything
I
but fur.
personally read about 8 Omegaverse novels in the last week, as I am working on something. I'm working on something, and so I just got refreshed on a lot of this, so I can, as an aside. I can take you aside and explain.
Thank you.
I just had like an actual moment where I was like, oh, I guess I'm a furry. Because I just was really like, I really was like, I think I need them to shift if I'm going to have to go through all this. If someone's biting someone else.
You want a wolf hologram.
Correct. I just was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like, you're going to do all that and not get like a... Right?
Well, here's
And
what
then
I'll
I was like,
say.
oh, I guess now I understand something about myself. Fine.
I really enjoyed this whole Kaylin business. I really did. She goes into heat on a movie set, and like the director, the head writer, the lead actor, and some other guy are all like,
Absolutely.
we gotta take care of her. And they all smell like a mojito.
Ooh. I love when they go like a little exotic with the scents. Like, ooh, she smells like cardamom and like orange rind.
Well, like-
And the inside of a
What's-
BMW.
In the
a brand new car scent. Oh my God. Why hasn't no one?
I don't know.
Here it is.
Everyone
It's
loves
yours.
that smell. I mean, take it. Listen, these
Adriana,
are ideas.
a gift from Jen.
All of them are for you.
How is an alpha not smelling like brand new car scent?
I mean, okay, since we're talking about terrifying things, I'm going to tell you all a story about, which I don't ever really talk about my students, but in this case, I was car shopping and kids are nosy. So like they see my computer and they're like, hey, miss, are you, car shopping? I was like, yeah, I guess. And one of the kids says, you should get a Bentley. And I said, I'm a teacher, right? I'm a teacher. And the kid said, yeah, but what about Jen Reed's romance? And I was like, pardon? Let me alight into another plane of being. Now, I kind of know some of them know because they're nosy. And I was like, well, okay, like maybe that's like nicer than Mazda money, but it's not Bentley money. You know what I mean? So
Sure
anyway,
isn't.
I just think like my point here is that there's a lot of things I don't understand in the world right now. And why aren't they shifting? And why do my kids know about Jen Reed's romance? All sorts of things.
I love the idea that they would think that there is millions in
podcasts.
romance podcasting.
You guys know, like
why is there not a Bentley up on their screen right now since you are sitting on piles of cats?
Yeah, why aren't you recording from your Bentley?
I mean, but now I'm like, okay, but maybe a hero who smells like the inside of a Bentley. Meanwhile, I was like, I'm pretty sure that if I even approached the Bentley dealership, I don't even know where one buys a Bentley, it would like that devil trying to enter into hell. I would imagine there's just a force field that would just like compel him just like right out, like just loop, and he's like thrown out of heaven. I think that that's what happens when you're a poor and you try and go into
You
the
walk
Bentley
into
dealership.
a Bentley, they can
Like
sniff it out.
yeah,
on you.
and you just like the doors won't even open. Like they just like boom, and you're like all across the street back at the Volkswagen dealership where you belong.
It's like when like in superhero movies when there's like an invisible glass
Yes.
wall and they keep running into it and get repelled out
That's-
back and they keep running into it and repelled back.
That is me at the Bentley dealership, correct? Yeah. I don't even know where you buy Bentley in Chicago. I bet you can. I mean, there are rich people
I'm
here.
sure.
So
Oh, absolutely.
in Chicago, sure.
Sure. There's probably 3. There's like one in Chicago, one in New York, one in LA, one in Miami, whatever.
Miami for sure has a Bentley dealership. Yeah.
All right. Well, what we do know about is historical romance in this group, though. And
do.
what we need to talk about is
a big project coming from AH2 in partnership with Fated Mates, the Historical Trailblazers box set, which is so exciting.
It is so exciting.
Adriana, I'm going to tap you to talk a little bit about, first of all, what the project is and where it came from.
Yes. Well, it came from usually where everything comes from when it comes to this this project, which is Ali and I texting at up inappropriate hours of the night and being like, you know what would be amazing? I mean, truly for us with the romance collections, what we want to make things that we really want to exist, and we want to make them exactly as extra as we feel they need to be. Like we want,
and they deserve
those books. Yes, as they deserve. And for this one specifically, Ali and I have a shared love of many things in romance, including Omegaverse, as it's public knowledge. But one of the things that really, like, both of us really kind of started in paranormal and historical were kind of like our two big spaces in romance that we really fell in love with the genre. So we share a lot of the same favorites, and we wanted to do a collection. And we had been talking with Sarah, like, Sarah, we had been talking to you, like, we really should do a historical project. And what that could be. And we had a lot of different ideas. Some ideas are still being percolated. And one of them was like, we should do a Trailblazers collection, because you guys have been doing this amazing archiving of the voices and the stories of the women who built the genre. And so it just felt like a natural collaboration. H squared. We want to make beautiful books so that we can have our favorite things in the most beautiful way that we can make them, and do this like celebration of some of the books that we really think have made an impact on the genre, that are the canon, some of the books that are in the canon as like really groundbreaking, seminal texts that everybody that's a romance lover should know and have read. And yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the actual concrete project. What are readers getting from this book, this project?
Ali, you want to talk about it?
No, really, because I am really bad at explaining everything, but I am so good at doing jazz hands in the background.
Unfortunately, you need to figure out an audio jazz hand.
Yeah.
That was very Zoidberger. I can tell you, I do think that Adriana is really the logistical mastermind. But I do want to say that every single thing that is going to be part of this set is going to be the most beautiful thing you will ever own, see, touch, kiss, if that's what you do with your books. I don't know.
You might want to kiss these.
Exactly.
You might want to kiss this. We actually just saw, you'll probably have seen them by the time this airs, but we just got the videos and photos of the actual proofs of like how the books are going to look, and they are honestly just amazingly beautiful. But what you will get in this collector's edition is a box set with 5 hardcover leather bound titles, which are Indigo by Beverly Jenkins, Butterfly Soars by Jeannie Lynn, The Magpie Lord by KJ Charles, Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas, because it had to be Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas, given that this is a collaboration with the women that founded Derek Craven Day. And also Lord of Scoundrels by Loretta Chase.
Just that little last one.
These little ones, yeah. These just small books.
The end cap to end all end caps, right? So like that is what you're getting in the collector's box, that they are, you know, we really kind of went overboard with the art. We have so much art for this collector. We have reversible dust jackets. So there's one dust jacket. The theme of the collection is let's give them their flowers.
So beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
A floral design for the front that's going to be gold foil.
By the way, everyone, the colors of the original first editions of each of these books.
Yeah.
Just every little detail is perfect.
Yes. Yes. So we have that. Then we're doing clinch art on the reverse side, and we selected 5 different artists because we really wanted the art to really be as representative or like as rendered as beautifully as we could. So, for Miss Vet, Miss Bev, we had to get an artist that we knew could capture Hester and Galen. So anyway, so we have that. We have also step back art that is also going to be bound into the book. We have custom chapter headers that are going to be full color. We have this beautiful foil stamp design.
The edges are all
the edges.
gorgeous.
Ombre edges. We have also the signature of the authors, for like gold foiled in the foil stamp design. And then we have also 2 of the books we were able to license for a full cast recording. And we are partnering with the incredible Julia Whelan for those 2 recordings. We're doing a full cast recording of Lord of Scoundrels, and we're doing a full cast recording of Indigo.
Which is so unreal. Everybody, I think what I want to say about this is I've known about that part for months, right? I was like, I can keep a secret, and I did. And yet, the day that it was announced, I still was like gleeful in a way like I had just learned it. Like, just like, oh my God, Julia Whelan doing Jessica Trent and Robin Lee doing Hester is like mind-blowing. Literally, I couldn't even, like, I was like, my brain's just like, brr. And so this is so exciting.
I know. And I mean, Allie, when we emailed Julia about it, Allie and I were like, we really want to do audiobooks. Like, let's figure out how we can do it. And I think we sent the email to Julia. And like within a couple hours, she had replied. And she's like, I have never replied to an email as fast as I did this. It was like an immediate yes the moment I read the email.
Amazing.
I love how much she is a romance lover.
Yes.
Yep. Like, she just, she's one of us.
She's one of us. Yeah, absolutely.
Makes me so happy.
And then content. There's fresh content. There's a letter from every author.
Yes, that's right.
Intros from us, from the 4 of us. Transcripts from Fated Mates, because every one of these books, not only have we done deep dives of every one of these books, but we've had interviews with every one of these authors about their career and their impact on the genre. So it really is a gift to romance lovers, to historical romance lovers, but also really honoring these authors and their place in the pantheon.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, I feel like Adriana has been showing us, like the art and, the layout and the cover. And still, when I saw the final product in the videos, I was overwhelmed by how
stunning,
pretty. Yeah, it's like, oh my God. Like, it just, the gestalt of it, it's even better than the sum of its parts. I am so happy. The slipcase. We didn't talk about the slipcase.
Oh yes, we're doing also like a goal full. I mean, I also like, and because I'm in the weeds with it, like I am doing a lot of like the back and forth with the artists, and like we see so many versions of the art, and we do so much like tweaking. I try to make it very collaborative. So like, we have like our chat group, and I'm like, so what do you think about this, and making changes. But seeing it all together, honestly, was like, it's going to be gorgeous, beautiful as we wanted it to be. And I also want to say, like, for every piece of art that's in the books, like every one of the authors saw every piece, approved every piece, was consulted on every piece of art, because we really also wanted to make them feel like a part of the project, and that we take all of this very seriously, and we love these books very, very much, and we want them to be as happy and joyful about the books and how they look as we are. So that I just wanted to say that, like, all of the authors are like very much like aware and involved and have had approval of everything that's going in the books.
Especially because, can I be petty a little bit?
I'm a Scorpio, babe. Lean in.
Yay! A lot of these books have been around for years, and a lot of the publishers that own the rights to these books, they have had their 10-year anniversary or 20-year anniversary, and there haven't been, traditional publishing is not investing in historical right now, and there haven't been these amazing special editions
that there are for so many other books, right?
Exactly. So we're just excited that it's happening. It needed to happen, and now it's happening. And now the world is at peace. Actually, it's not. It is very much
but
not.
This is one really nice thing.
Yes.
It's like they went to the moon, and also we're doing a box set of historicals.
Exactly.
Now, I do want, one of the things I do think is also important to talk about is like the Kickstarter of it all, right? So potentially people are going to be like, okay, cool, I'll just go to my local, romance bookstore or whatever and pick these up. And it's like a very different process when it's a Kickstarter. And so maybe it would be a good idea to sort of talk about like kind of like how it works and why it works that way. And then like what you then everybody listening needs to do to make sure you're in on this.
Because the Kickstarter is live now. So
yes.
So tell us how it all works.
So the Kickstarter is like it's a crowdfunding campaign. So the idea is that we need backers so that we can bring the physical, like do the print run of these books that we have created. Allie and I have done one previously. We did After the End last year, which was an amazing project. And it was amazing for us. We completely were blown away by the support. We did not expect it to go the way it did and are very, very grateful for it. And so the idea is that you essentially are doing a pre-order if we fund the campaign. So we usually have like an amount of money that funds the campaign. So once the campaign is funded, then anybody that wants to back it can back it. And then once it's finished, then we are able to create the books. We do our own print runs. So we have a printer that we work with overseas, and they make the books for us. And then we have a fulfillment partner here in the US that distributes the book. Actually, for this one, we are trying to partner. We are in the process of partnering with a fulfillment partner in the UK and the EU because the shipping prices for Europe and the UK when you send them from here are astronomical. So we are partnering with a shipment and a fulfillment partner in the UK and the EU that has warehouses there. And then that way the prices for shipping for EU and UK backers can be a lot more accessible. So that's something that we really wanted to do for this one because the prices are crazy. So anyway, what you do is you essentially go on our Kickstarter page. It would be the Historical Trailblazers Kickstarter. And there's going to be different tiers that you can back. And then you pick the one that you want. You select that. You won't be charged until the campaign closes, which it closes on June 2nd. And then, a few months later, you will get your beautiful, amazing book. And for the audio backers, you will get the audiobook once they're finished. We, the schedule for the audiobooks is for them to be ready in September, October, like in the fall.
And then one other thing is like you can do sort of like a pay over time on Kickstarter, right? There's sort of a way to, if you're looking at that and like you're like, I really want these, but this money right now. But, if I knew I could pay in, installments essentially. So there are options. And, there's just lots of ways to like support this, right? And so we just hope that everyone is really excited about it. I think this is, I don't know, like seeing these books and just really like giving them their flowers. I'm really saying like these authors, these are foundational to like historical romance itself. We all deserve these like beautiful books. I just cannot wait.
Yeah, and groundbreaking in so many ways. Like Eugenia Lynn's book was the first historical romance that was traditionally published that was set in ancient China. Mm-hmm. And KJ Charles kind of brought in not only like romance into historical, but also, it had been before, but like the genre mashing that she did. It's historical, it's horror, it's paranormal.
Some mystery.
Yeah, it's got it all, right?
Yes, it's got it all. And of course, Indigo, which is, I think when that book came out, I don't think there really was anything else like it that was being published. And it's still to this day, like I've read that book, I don't know, 4 or 5 times since we started this project, because for different reasons I had to reread it. And it's honestly like so timely. Like it could have come out last month and it would still be that relevant.
Yeah. Well, and I think like that's the part. If you're, if you are a historical romance reader, like how illuminating they can be about our time, right? Like sort of there's so many ways to like connect with historical. And so, once we're done talking about the campaign and sort of all the exciting things about it, right? We're going to talk about other historicals we love that we think you should read just for like vibes to get you ready. But I just feel like so many of the books right in the collection are books I just think about over and over. They just, it's like the very definition of like a keeper shelf, but now we are giving you versions that like match like the product. You know what I mean? The book itself matches like the way I feel about it. Right? And that's a beautiful thing.
So what do we do if we want to order this book right now? Aside from go to show notes and click on the link.
Go to the Kickstarter page, select the tier that you want to buy, and then you will be a backer.
And the tiers, how do the tiers work?
So we have different tiers. We want it because we have audiobooks. We always want to have like a digital option so that the pricing is accessible at a lot of different price points. So the way that we've done the tiers is we have the box set tier, and then of course there's going to be like the mega box set where you can get the audiobooks and all the art prints and the box set together. And then there's different tiers if you just want the box set, if you just want the audios. We also have a book club tier, which is 3 copies of the same book, because we try to make it a collection so that people, sometimes, people will want to like pick and choose just one book. And like the idea is that we want you to like, we curate these collections very carefully.
You're going to love all 5 of these books. Enjoy yourselves.
Yes. But we also know that, these books have a lot of different readership. So for like, for someone that we really just want like this book, like the compromise that we came to us, so we can give you a book club tier where you and 2 friends can come together and get 3 copies of the same book. And those will have also their own slipcase. So you won't get like, you will be able to get your slipcase with it. And then we'll also have bookseller bundles. And the bookseller bundles are for any independent bookstores out there that want to carry these box sets. We have an option for them as well. And there's also like the audiobook tier. So you have an audiobook tier, which is both audiobooks, and then you can get each audiobook individually, so that we can give people a lot of entry points in terms of like just price points. We wanted to have like an option that was less than $100. We wanted to have an option that was less, like that kind of thing.
You forgot the most important thing.
Oh,
the raccoon.
See, Sarah didn't forget. I like you, Adriana.
That's right. And we also have a Regency Amorosa plushie.
She's so cute.
Which
collect all Amorosas.
That is our plan for, any collections that we do, have a different version of Amorosa.
The Beanie Baby of romance.
Correct.
Except it comes with books.
The Labubu of romance. Because she is Labubu sized.
You guys have done an incredible thing. And like, listen, the historical author and lover in my heart is just so excited about this project and about just finally seeing historical get the love that I know it deserves. I said when we started this, the first thing I said to all of you was that I have just spent the last like 2 days prepping for this episode, just reading historical romance and like just having pure joy. And I'm so excited for this project. So thank you for the project. Thank you for letting us be a part of it. Fated Mates listeners are definitely going to be over the moon to get all of the books, especially our sweet baby, Derek Craven.
Derek Craven. There's so many versions of Derek Craven in this special edition. One that looks suspiciously like Tom Hardy.
What?
My favorite is every time there was a piece of art that came through, I was like, where are the spectacles? And Adriana was like, these spectacles are really getting their work done.
Yes. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Listen, Lisa Kleypas loves a talisman, and so do I.
Listen, and when we sent her the art, of course, like, you know, like Allie and I had a moment of like, she has perceived us. She is aware of the fact that we are people in the world and exist. And she really loved this special edition. She sent us, I love them in like all caps. Like she really, really loves it. Yeah.
This is fine. It's okay. It's fine. We're good. We're good. We're breathing still.
Totally cool, not like totally normal.
We're all cool. You know, one last thing I think is, you know, the books for After the End have come in. You have seen them. And so, you know, you also really can speak from experience and saying like these books don't just look beautiful, are not going to just look beautiful in photos or look beautiful in videos. Like you have had your hands on sort of like what is coming from your printer. And so you can really say like these books are going to just feel great in your hands too, everybody.
We had a moment. We went to the warehouse, and well, after Adriana was very mean to my cats, we went to the warehouse, and we were like, yeah, I was kind of speechless, honestly.
Yes, it was kind of a moment because I have to say, like Allie and I have done it. Like this entire thing started from a place of like, we just want to see certain things celebrated in this space. And we just like, I feel like we have to take matters into our own hands, and we can't do it all, but we can't do a couple or a few things and do them with like the most love that we possibly can. And we are certain that there's going to be people out there that want this as much as we want it to exist. And the response that we got with After the End was so overwhelming. Like we honestly still cannot believe it. And we went into the warehouse and it was like wall to wall pallets of romance novels that we had printed ourselves. Like it was just, I don't know, this fandom, and I mean, not fandom. I'm like still in hated rivalry.
The romance community
yes,
is a fandom in a way, if you think about it.
Absolutely. And this community, like there's so many things that you could say, but there is one thing that is true, and is that we love this genre with such passion. And there are people that really, I feel like, have that sense of like, there are so many more things that we could be doing in this genre to celebrate the voices that don't get as much platform. And so we still are amazed with the response to After the End. And we hope that can people come to the Trailblazers again. Yeah, and it was really special going to that warehouse. Like Allie and I were like, did we do this?
This week's episode of Fated Mates is brought to you by Dawn Banks, author of The Spreadsheet Situation.
So Evie Watson is wild about her job. She is a librarian in a small town called Sapling Grove, which is maybe a little too small town for her. The library there requires that all their librarians sort of assume, quote, other duties as assigned. So she's a little bit of like problems here and there, kind of sticking to boundaries and creating them for herself. Her anxiety is through the roof because the library is short-staffed, and there's like a condescending English professor who just keeps coming in and out and like irritating her. But one thing Evie can do, and one thing that she knows she does very well, is like manage a spreadsheet. This is a woman who like give her a task and she can complete it. And which is very helpful because history professor Andrew Brandt is in the library one day with needing some serious help with Excel, which is, listen, this is perfect. Evie has a crush on him. He's a super nerd. He loves to cook. She's very into him. And so, maybe she can teach him how to fill a cell or two and convince him that he needs her for the long term.
Amazing. So if you would like to check out the spreadsheet situation, it is available right now in print and ebook. And also the second book in this series comes out next month. So you can read the spreadsheet situation and get yourself ready for the boyfriend setup. If your podcasting app supports it, you can click on the chapter title right now to be taken to buy the books. Thanks to Dawn Banks for sponsoring this week's episode.
Well, let's talk a little bit about historicals since we're talking about historicals. Everybody here loves a historical romance. So what we've done is our listeners know that we a couple times a year do a historical specific episode where we just talk about books that we love, because we will always talk about historicals, whether or not publishing comes from or not, traditional publishing. And can we do some talking about historicals that we all love, that you guys love? We've asked everybody to come with some books that they want to talk about. I know Allie has two specific bangers to speak
More
about,
ways
one
than
of which
one.
is like a literal banger.
Yeah.
Which she was ready to tussle in the chat group. Just so you know,
Just
this
so
is
you
my
know.
book. So
Yeah, you
You're
don't
like-
get to have this one.
I have things to discuss. Okay.
So, but before we get to Rex, can we just talk about historicals at a high level? What is it that gives us this absolute joy about historicals? And Allie, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know the other two have been recorded talking about it.
I think the reason why at the end I will always go back to historicals is that they go there, they go everywhere. There is that sense of, and to be clear, I also think that the same reason people love romantasy now is that romantasy is better able to capture the essence of historicals than contemporary. It's this idea that if something is set in a period and a location that just feels sort of far away or separated from where we are in time, it's okay for characters to just do bonkers things and experience bonkers things. And that is why we're okay with the whole, he has to suck the bee juice from her tit or whatever. It's
classic. We were
Classic,
robbed,
right?
by the way, in season 2 of Bridgerton.
I
Truly.
write a letter
what's
to
up?
Shonda Rhimes Daly about this.
Yeah.
Hi, Shonda, it's me again. Me again.
What were you thinking there?
You are not yet forgiven, Shonda. Goodbye, Sarah. But yeah, that is, I think, and again, I stand by what I tell everyone who tells me, I'm not really into contemporary. I just like romantasy. Is but have you checked out historicals? Because it's very much that same vibe to me. I also want to say I am a dumb person when it comes to history. I've just never been very good at it. You don't have to understand history to enjoy historicals.
These are not,
You
this is
certainly
not
don't.
history, right?
I mean,
I just, it's important to me that people who are like me, who are I don't know the difference between Regency and Victorian. And I am just going to.
Do you need to?
I'm going
They're
to
the
bear it
same.
all. No, it's
One starts with a V,
unnecessary.
one starts with an R.
Whatever.
It does. And as someone who loves history and is very much into the finer details of when you also can enjoy it very much, even if it's not
Yes.
perfectly historically accurate.
everyone bathes all the time. Everyone has perfect teeth.
Sure.
Everyone has an
Sure.
8-pack.
Exactly.
That's
Both
totally how
sides
that
of the
works.
spectrum work here, okay?
Somehow all these men are 6.5 feet tall, but never hit their heads.
Yeah, right.
All
No.
their teeth in
Tiny
their head.
doors.
Can you imagine how crazy that would be if you met somebody that tall from 200 years ago? Everyone was shorter. Anyway.
It's I was reading it's not really a historical romance and not even a romance, but Mystery of Time. I was reading it like I think last year, a couple of years ago, and this is someone from, again, I don't know what historical era, somewhere in the 1900s or late 1800s,
The past.
whatever. It's a man from the past who is brought to the present, and the main character says he was 5'7" or something, which would have been super tall for his time, but not very tall for our time. And I was like, shut up. They were all 6'10" and above in the Regency era. We all know that. Come on.
That's how that works. Yeah.
Anyway, excellent book. Highly recommend.
Amazing book.
Aside from this incorrect detail.
Yeah, that minor historical
Exactly.
inaccuracy.
Details we don't need to know.
Exactly.
I just retcon it in my head. Like everybody says that Lisa Kleypas, Marcus Westcliff is a short king. Not in my head. In my head, he's like 6'10".
Marcus is like 6'3", which is slightly shorter.
Yeah, that's it.
The other guys who are 6'5" and above.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about some books. Who wants to go first? She's got one. Well, Allie, since you're going,
Yes.
Allie's
I was like,
primed to go. Okay?
we're
Let's do
ready.
it.
Like, tee it up.
launch us.
What should I? You guys know what my choices are. Which one should I start?
Start with a bang.
With a banger. Okay, I don't even have a physical copy, but this is audio only, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Eric, do not add that, please. Okay. Well, okay, my first one is going to have to be Passion by Lisa Valdez, which
A classic.
a classic.
A trailblazing penis.
A groundbreaking
In so many ways.
phallus.
Okay, all of these jokes will make much more sense to you guys once you read the book.
You know the thing though that is amazing? I want you to tell the story that I didn't let you tell, which is like how you first acquired this.
So it's I actually don't even know what year it was, but I can tell you that I maybe I was a minor. I don't know. Like, when I read this book,
doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. But it was the early 2000s at some point, and so again, I was living in Italy. My English was not super good, and probably like if I heard of this book at that time, it must have been from All About Romance. Do you guys remember? But at the time, may have been called like Lori Likes Books or something. Do you guys remember those olden times? So that would have been where I would have gotten the book recommendation. And I feel like even back then, people were like, this book is not like anything else that has ever been written. So Passion is the story of this young widow who goes to, again, history is a mystery, some big great expo in London.
It's the World's Fair, isn't it?
The World's Fair, yes.
It is.
It's the World's Fair.
The Crystal Palace World Fair, right?
The Crystal Palace, yes. And she meets some guy who, and they're like just immediately hot for each other. Now, you're going to be like, this sounds really sketchy, but everything I'm going to say is actually played straight in the book. It's just a very purple prosy, like, the book takes itself seriously, and I take it very seriously.
Yes.
I will fight over this book. So they just see each other across, I don't know, like this weird expo hall, and I believe they like sort of bump into each other, and 10 minutes later they are banging behind one of those like screens or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
An expo screen.
It makes so much sense, guys. In the text, you're like, oh no, yes, of course. What
Well,
else?
she's
would
a
they
widow.
do?
She's
a widow.
She needs it.
He's hot. And yeah.
And well, you're leaving out
the main conflict of the book.
main conflict of the book.
You guys, this man has a giant dick, and he.
Listen,
It's a public
giant,
menace.
like underline, giant, like
Yeah.
no
Very.
Well,
very long.
You're also
very,
leaving out
very
the fact
girthy.
that she has like a super secret pocket in her cervix.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get
getting
there.
there.
I'm sorry.
No, totally.
Okay.
Sorry, no,
I didn't mean to jump
understand.
ahead. It's both and everybody is what I'm
Jen,
trying to
it's
say.
so long. You are jumping ahead.
I want to make an aside here and say that this book is actually prophetic and very Omegaverse coded. Let's continue.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, this is formative to me. Like, this is people. I know people have been making fun of the book since it came out, but no, like it made me, it molded me into who I am.
It's also
so
very hot.
oh,
It's
it's
so
really
hot.
good. Yeah.
This week's episode of Fated Mates is brought to you by Juniper Butterworth, author of The King in the Forest.
This is the conclusion to Juniper's Goblins and Cheese Quartet, and which is fantasy adventure romance featuring goblins, cheese, and an MMF pairing. So RF in this book, Elson, has been queen of the land for 1 year, and things are not going well. There are strange and terrible fairies who are marauding the land and attacking her subjects. Cheese distribution to the hungry cannot happen fast enough. The wizard Ildar is missing. Her consort, Kandar, has made it a habit to throw noblemen like down hills when they annoy him. They do deserve it, but still. And Ben, Kandar and Elson's lover, is rumored to have killed his mother, though it's totally fine. She's alive and just stealing cheese in the background. Worst of all, though, Elson has to go it alone while Kandar and Ben travel on a mission to figure out what's going on that's bringing kind of chaos and mayhem to the world around them. And what they uncover is something pretty terrifying. Cruel fairy lords, fire-worshipping dukes, ancient betrayals. And what needs to happen is the three of them have to come together and then partner with unlikely allies in the battle for the Elson Kingdom, including, making friends with the cheese thieves, I guess.
Amazing.
So
a lot to happen here in this final book. So if you are looking to figure out what is going to happen to all of these magical creatures, goblins, fairies, queens, kings, all that stuff, then check out The King in the Forest. It is available now for pre-order. The book comes out on May 26th, and everybody's going to be safe in the end, and HEA will be had by all, and there'll be a romance horse.
he's very heroic, it says.
What else do you need to know, everybody? So thank you to Juniper Butterworth for sponsoring this week's episode.
Anyway, so here's the conflict is that Mark, the main character, the dude, he's an earl or duke or something. Again, history, I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't care. Like
A title.
He has
He's
a title,
Marquess, maybe?
but he's also an architect. So he is a man of science. Just putting it out there. He
Not biology.
he has this monstrous phallus
Humongous.
that he has never been able to get into a woman as much as he wanted to. But at the Words Expo, behind that faded screen, he is able to get into passion. Apparently, just not quite as deep as he would like. The pocket is not found.
Well, because they're standing.
They're standing, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It
He needs a
fits.
full laying down situation.
Yeah. But he sees the potential in her body. And that is why they start a relationship. Now, without too many spoilers, this man is engaged, but he's only engaged because he's been blackmailed by someone who actually happens to be close to passion. This gets very complicated, but like
Messy.
yeah, so messy. Again, this type of messiness, like in contemporary people these days would be like, oh, emotional cheating or whatever. And I'm like, but he has found the pocket.
He can penetrate her cervix.
Exactly.
Came with a built-in dig pocket. Like, get with it.
This lady also has a cervix with no nerves. So it's
None.
Okay. Also, if you
The
are
strongest
like,
pelvic floor in history.
exactly.
doing her. This predates Kegel.
Oh, God. concrete pelvic floor.
This is, listen,
It's so
you
good.
guys,
Yeah.
you guys, you don't understand.
It's so hot.
Once Sanj, who is one of my favorite, like, just person who talks, she's a person, I want to say an influencer. She's someone who talks about actually a lot of historical romance, and she's one of my favorite. She once said that fate is the ultimate lubricant, and I would also say fate is the ultimate polychlor. Like, that is just like your internal muscles will be healed by
Sure.
the fact that you are fated to be with Mark. So,
Mark, there's also so much Bible in this book.
it's a
Song
very
of Solomon. It's
right.
real
Her favorite, she has a favorite scripture or whatever, which is something his brother teases him about. It's like, you are doing a woman who has a favorite part of the Bible. So this is weird.
You know what's amazing for me? It was like when I read that book. I look back in 2010, like on my own. I had no one to know to be like, what did I
came
just
to
read?
it late.
Huh?
You came to it late.
You picked it up at the store without knowing.
Well, I think I probably read it early, but like that's when I have it in my Kindle. Like, right?
Yeah.
Essentially,
And honestly,
right?
it has a great cover.
the green.
Yep.
Yeah,
With
but
the
I mean,
fan.
you just have to understand, like back in the day, before social media, you were just on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Reading these books, being like, "What the fuck did I
And
just
nobody was
read?"
saying he has a massive dick.
No, nobody was there
They
to
were
be like,
like-
"Listen, check this shit out." I just, who knows? Who knows how I found it, right?
It's true. I feel like it's a new thing to be like, I recommend this book because it's so spicy. Like, I feel like back at the time, people would have been like, oh, the
I feel like-
stories.
yeah,
enthralling.
if TikTok discovered passion, they like,
No.
why has TikTok, like, it's so spicy takes on a new level when
It's-
he's penetrating your cervix pocket.
You guys, please, can one of you TikTok influencers make this book blow up so that I can just like talk about it with everyone. This is very
to
important
bring back
to me.
historical in one fell swoop.
He's also a twin, and the penises match.
Oh, yeah. At
yeah,
one point,
so-
he and the brother are like, God, it's such
yeah.
a drag that we can't
Well,
find
they
a
have
lady
a
with a
poem.
cervix
They
pocket.
have a poem.
The brother
Yeah.
is younger.
There's like a little
because,
song they made up.
Yeah, they have the song, which was like, basically the song is a fancy way of saying, if she can take my whole dick, I'm going to
Then
marry
she's
her.
the one
And I'm
for
like,
Then
me.
she's the one.
It's like the princess and the pea, essentially.
Exactly.
And honestly, like if you
Just
have read
P, the
it,
letter P.
if you have read an Allie Hazelwood book,
you can
you
see
can
that Lisa
see
Valdez is my
the
mother.
blueprint of Lisa Valdez. It is there for you
But, like,
to discover.
Also, the villainous villains, like we're talking, like there's so much blackmail, so much
mustache
drama.
twirling.
Truly, it's
Yes.
a very misogynistic book. Like every woman who is in passion is pretty much a terrible person. You know, it's fine. We will.
It's very
we will-
of the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very of the time.
And it's I don't know, it has like this drama, like the drama of it all. We're laughing about it, but literally like these two fall in love and they're doomed.
The revelation of the actual conflict, the like who he is engaged to,
Yes.
how it is all tied together is brutal.
Yeah.
Well,
And I really do think this is where historical sings is the like, what is the worst possible scenario that these two will have to overcome? Make
Yeah.
it so. At least if Valdez knows that job.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this is the sequel, which is about the younger brother and her and Passion's younger sister.
patience
Is also Patience, yes, which goes deep in like BDSM stuff. But of course, they didn't know what BDSM was at the time. so-
Predating.
Yes, ante litteram. It's a very it's another one that you're like, oh wow, like
And this book's came out what, like
2007? 2000?
okay, I
no.
want to say Passion like early 2000s. I think Patience came out like 7 years later.
Yeah.
Even though
Oh.
it was supposed to come out like 2 months later.
Patience, I know, came out like 2 weeks after my first romance novel in 2010.
That was because it was delayed a lot. Right, yeah. And then, but I was waiting all those years, and then Primrose still waiting. So Lisa, if you're listening to this, like I will buy 100,000 copies of Primrose.
Also, Lisa, we've been trying to reach you to come on the podcast. We love you. We're good. Allie and Adriana will tell you that we're very nice.
They are very nice.
We will. A Squared can do a special edition of Primrose.
Lisa, literally, like I
We will
come
be your
to
publisher.
house and make you food while you write because, like, I have been waiting for. I have read the first chapter of Primrose at the end of Patience
Multiple times.
so many times, and you are my hero, and I love you, and yeah, let me polish your shoes or something. Like,
I mean, to me, it's like also like it's like not a big deal now in 2026, 2024, 2020 to write a whole book where a big part of the conflict is his dick is enormous. But let me tell you something. There was not a lot out there in 2005, 2006 with like dick as the central theme.
Well, there's sort of the classic conundrum, which is it will never fit.
It will
but
never
it
fit.
does. But then what
Yes.
she did was
She was like, no, really,
but
it will never
it
fit.
Yes.
No, really.
Like this
is a
man
real
is on
problem.
a quest
yeah,
A quest.
to find the
a
right
noble quest.
pelvic floor, and he found it.
Beautiful.
Our first, so these are books for you to read to tide you over while you wait for the Historical Trailblazers collection.
And to do me a personal favor, which
And
Yeah, also you could just call Allie up at the end.
And be like,
and to dig deeply into the Hazelwood id.
yeah,
Exactly.
right, exactly. You're gonna it is true. You really did show your hand there.
I know who made me. I know who made me, and I think of them every day.
This week's episode of Fated Mates is sponsored by Elle Kennedy, author of the Off Campus series and its first book, The Deal, and also the new romance Amazon show.
Exactly. Everybody's been waiting for your next romance show to drop, and here it is. If you haven't read this book, it is terrific. Hannah Wells has finally found someone who turns her on. She's super confident in every area of her life. She is crushing it in school, but she's really nervous about like sex and seduction. And so she just cannot figure out how to get her crush's attention until Garrett Graham comes into the picture. Not her crush. Instead, he is essentially like the bad boy of the school's hockey team. She wouldn't even think to have a crush on someone like him. He is the most popular kid at Briar U, until what happens is he needs help essentially passing a class that he shares with Hannah. Everybody has completely bombed this test except for her, and he convinces her to tutor him in the class, and he will make her essentially the coolest girl in school by pretending to be interested in her. She's like, surely that won't work. And he's like, well, men are really stupid, trust me. And a great romance is born. So if you haven't had a chance to read The Deal, you should, but also watch the terrific looking trailer for this new show at Amazon, which drops this week.
Well, if you would like to get started on the Off Campus series with The Deal, you can do that right now in print, ebook, and audiobook. It looks like they've got a movie tie-in cover already for the series, so that's exciting too. You can click on the chapter title if your podcasting app supports it, and you'll be taken to buy the book. Thanks so much to Elle Kennedy for sponsoring this week's episode.
So I'm going to talk about one of my favorites, which is Nighthawk by Beverly Jenkins. And I think the thing that historical also really does for me, especially kind of now, is like these are books where there's plot. Things happen, right? Things happen in these books. And so I think that is like really appealing to me. I'm a person who likes a lot of plot. I really like a lot of external conflict. You know, I like to feel like it's like these two people against the world, right? Like the most pleasing. It's like if you take heroin against the wall and then turn it to like people against the world, like I am all in. And so in Nighthawk, what we have is Maggie. She's our heroine, and she has like been orphaned since she was very young, 10 or 12, essentially has been on her own. And essentially, and again, like this is like, I don't know, like I guess this would come with like a boatload of content warnings and now, but she essentially is almost sexually assaulted, and in the process of like getting away, the man is killed. Like I think she pushes him off and he trips and essentially hits his head on the corner of a table, which in a historical romance will kill you. I don't know if that's true in real life. And now you have to have like, I don't actually want to talk about it anyway. So Ian Vance, who is Preacher, right, is a bounty hunter, and he is sent after her to essentially like take her to the law. Now, you have to understand, this poor man, he had a beloved wife. She died 6 or 7 years ago, whatever. And he can never love again.
He just can't. That's just fact.
That is a fact.
No widower can ever love again.
He can never love again. And ever.
His heart is broken.
Correct. He is broken. His heart is broken, but he doesn't have a heart, so he can't talk about it. He can just
science. The heart just removed.
It's just replaced with a star from the fact that he's a lawman, right? That's what his heart is now.
I love that you refer to him as a lawman.
Sure. Well, because all cops are bastards, but Preacher is
exactly.
not. So anyway, he goes and he like collects her. And then I will tell you, these two go on the most rip-roaring historical adventure, right? Like they are on a train. There are bad guys after them. They are, right, there's like, hotels and like you can't go there. And I mean, it's just like unreal. The whole thing is just like scene after scene after scene where you are like, I am watching an action movie, only it's a romance. And because, of course, he can't love again. And she is like, really has been on her own for so long. So such like a rich, beautiful conflict. And like I was rereading, it's been a while since I've reread it. And I was rereading the part where he basically gets this like idea in his head that they should get married. So like now she knows he can't love. She said, basically as much. And so he asked her to marry him, and she's kind of like, why do you want to do that? And he's like, just say yes. But they're having sex. So she's like, yes. And so, and she's excited, right? Because she's just basically like, look, I would just want to be with him. I don't know. It is like, to me, the pinnacle of like kind of what historical does so well, in that it is like, I love that, like, I'm broken. I'm a broken man. I can never love again. And yet here I have met this beautiful, spectacular, perfect woman. Oh no. Plus a train adventure. So that is Nighthawk by Beverly Jenkins. I'm going to tell you one other thing. One of the reasons that this is my favorite is because I secretly suspect that this is also one of Bev's favorites. If you have ever heard her talk about this book or this cover, she just gets a special little extra twinkle in her eye. And if you know what I mean, and I remember the first time I saw her like sort of mention Preacher, and that, she has that raspy laugh, and I was like, oh, this is one of her favorites. And in fact, so I don't know if that's true, but I feel that it is true.
Adriana, what do you got?
Well, I have two because you told us to, but I'm going to talk about Flower from the Storm by Laura
We may
Kinsale.
just do one and then
I know, we're already, right? Exactly.
Yeah, so this book, it's a well-known text for historical romance lovers. Laura Kinsale is one of those authors that kind of has like her own space for writing.
Yeah.
Is not like anybody else's. Like I think she's one of those romance authors, which I think is kind of one of my favorite kind of romance author, who really kind of sticks to the conventions but turns them all on their head. She really is just writes kind of in her own lane and always picks like really weird settings. Like she loves like France in the 1700s. I almost picked Prince of Midnight, which, by the way, like the heroine was in a sex cult and he rides a horse in a harlequin suit. So you do with that what you want.
Historical romance is unmatched.
You do, and he has a wolf dog. Like it's a little wolf.
Yes.
So you do with that what you want. It's out there for you to read Prince of Midnight. He also has vertigo. So, and he rides a horse. So
he rides a horse with vertigo?
So, yeah. So
He's a
he
romance
does.
hero, Sarah.
Never falls off.
No.
Yeah, no, not it's a problem. That's why he's retired, because he used to be like a vigilante. Why am I talking about Prince of Midnight?
Well-
But it is.
Welcome to Fated Mates, everyone.
You should definitely read it. I'm gonna talk about Maddie Girl, Flowers
Maddie girl.
from the Storm. So this book let's just start with the fact that she's a Quaker. And so
So much religious trauma.
yeah, like
She's a
I mean,
Quaker.
this book came out in what? Let me look, 1992. And there were not a lot of Quaker heroines being
Kids
written
say, like,
at the time.
she's a Quaker. Everyone else like, what?
We're like, yeah, of course. Obviously, she's a Quaker.
And her being a Quaker is such a huge
Yeah,
piece of
central.
her arc, because she really is not trying to be a part of this oppressive colonialist system. Like, this woman is out here trying to be an abolitionist, okay? And so she ends up getting hooked up with this man who is, by the way, the first chapter, he's having sex with someone's wife.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
not
straight up.
her. She's a friend. So
And she's
not
like,
into
I think
that.
I might be pregnant. He's like, well, you better pass that off to your husband. I don't want anything to do with it. And
Dude.
you're like,
This is
what is actually happening right now? That he's
Let
like,
me go drink some hot chocolate.
Let me go drink some hot chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
1-star unforgivable hero would not
DNF.
no redemption, DNF after one chapter.
But then what happens to him?
Exactly.
And then, whoops, has a stroke. Cannot talk. He has a stroke. So here's the thing about, I think, the mark of, to me, what is one of the, like, when the hero does something that's unforgivable, like page 1, like, you're in for a great
Yes.
fucking time.
He is going to have to crawl over broken glass.
Also, he's a math genius. So is her dad. So they correspond, sending each
From
other
the
like,
asylum.
This right, the asylum.
her dad's blind, so she's the one that does the letters for him. Switch, like, they are like exchanging theorems and shit, like in a correspondence. He's a math genius. Her dad's a math genius. He disappears. He's actually in an asylum. He's been like, because, he was like sleeping around with people's wives. So he's now like stuck in this prison. She finds him, is able to bring him back to life. I love a
With
story
math. With math.
with math. I love a story of a woman, like, he's in a coma. He is, can't speak anymore, but he sees her and like all of it comes back. So he sees her. She literally saves him, Maddie Girl. And then it's literally from there. It is, I can't even, like, there's so many, like, it's like crazy thing after crazy thing, and everything gets even, it's very much like a road trip romance for a little bit. The queen shows up at one point. Like, it's a lot of different, like, it's a great time. And it really, I think, is one of those books. I always say, like, historical romance is like the Broadway musical of romance. Like, I feel like, all the heroes are like John Valjean, and they just kind of like come into the scene and break into song. Laura Kinsale's books really feel like that to me. Like, the heroes are, I mean, all historical romance heroes are larger than life, but her characterization is so intricate. Like, these men have so many layers to them. And this one specifically, I think she does a really fun book. I think people don't give her as much credit because her books, I think, are really funny and have like a lot of like comedic like elements to them that are really great. But also there is like, in this book specifically, and that's something that Sarah always talks about. It's like, why can't they be together? And like with this book specifically, to the last page, she is just fighting this because she really does not want to leave the world that she knows she has to turn her back on, because she can no longer be she can't be a friend anymore if she is going to be with this man. And it is something that really is so hard for her to turn her back on this world that has been safe for her and something she believes in, like, is so tied to her values. And he is just like a reprobate.
Yes.
Like really, truly, like on the first page, like this man is not nice. Okay. He is like sleeping with other people's wives and then also being like, what about it? Like you're pregnant. Well, I'm
That's
thirsty.
on
Let me
you,
go.
my friend.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. Let me go drink some hot chocolate. Like it's literally like unhinged, and he is not a nice guy. And then she really transforms him. Like he really becomes a better person because she's in his life. And I love this book. Like Laura Kinsale's prose is unmatched. I really think like she is one of the most beautiful, like at a sentence level, like, and you don't need to be like at the sentence level, this is beautiful, but she really does write a beautiful book. And that's my pick, Flowers from the Storms. I think it's also one of the classics of the genre. I think everybody that loves romance should read this book at some point because that man is a lot.
This week's episode of Fated Mates is sponsored by Blue Box Press, publishers of Larissa Ione's Legacy of Desire, a new Demonica Birthright novel.
Yeah, and this is gonna be super sexy. Why choose Demonica Birthright, everybody?
What?
So what we have here is Scotland. She is a warrior in her own right and the daughter of one of the horsemen of the Apocalypse War. I mean, you know, and she's dedicated her life to fighting evil with her two demon best friends, Mace and Blade. They have an extraordinary bond, an uncanny ability to operate in perfect unison, and this has made them legends on their demonic activity response team. So essentially they have agreed though to like essentially never talk about romance because they might ruin a good thing between these three teammates. But as things kind of devolve, there's a recent tragedy. Mason Blade can no longer ignore their feelings. Scotty has determined to lose her virginity and asked these two for help figuring out who might help her with this task. And so now one teammate's in the hospital, the other one is in Scotty's arms. What's going to happen between the three of them? How could she possibly decide? Maybe she doesn't have to.
No, why choose? Why choose, Jen? You don't have to. Anyway, if you also don't have to choose, if you want to read a paranormal romance with a why choose, then this one is absolutely for you. If you've ever read anything by Larissa, you know it's going to be blazing hot and very fun. And you can get it right now in print, ebook, or audiobook, wherever you get your books. If your podcasting app supports it, you can click on the chapter title to be taken to buy the book. Thanks so much to Blue Box Press and Larissa Ione for sponsoring this week's episode. All right, well, I picked something very, very new. I picked Lenora Bell's Can't Get Enough of the Duke, which was out last month. And I picked it because I think, like I said, I've spent the last, couple of weeks reading a lot of historicals for this, but like the last few days really like just basking in the glow of historicals. And I think all the time about what you just said, Adriana, about historical being the Broadway of romance. But I also think about the fact that I feel like historical leaves nothing on the table. Like every idea a historical writer is having at the moment that they are writing this book goes into the book they are writing. And there's never a moment where it's like, maybe that's too much. Like, no, just pack it in. I think about Lord of Scoundrels and how, the sort of very classic, and I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't read it, although it is from the 90s, so go read it. Or just read it when it comes to your house in beautiful hardcover. But there's sort of a very classic moment where Jessica puts on a very beautiful mantilla and goes and does a thing. And it happens in your head. You think to yourself, like, that must be the end of the book, but it's actually chapter 8, right? Like there's they're just, everything gets packed in. So I think Lenora Bell writes a really wonderful, very funny. She has such an ear for humor. Like her books are so clever. And in this book begins on the battlefield in France during the Napoleonic Wars, where a man has been lanced to death by a terrible Frenchman. And he calls over his best war friend and he says, whose name is the Duke of Warburton, because name is destiny. And he says, listen, my daughter is now an orphan. She has no one to love her. I need you to be her guardian and go home and take care of her. And he's like, there's battle raging all around him. And he says, I swear it will be done. And then immediately gets stabbed by a Frenchman. And that's the end of chapter 1. And then we open like years later, and this man has spent years searching, with scars all over his big, massive, beautiful body for this woman.
Which is probably 5'7".
Exactly.
6'11", possibly 7 feet. And he has been searching London for her because, of course, like, he was in a, sword coma. And she,
sword coma.
She didn't have any,
I'm writing
she
sword
didn't have any
coma
money.
down.
There was no money. There was no father. Like, no one came home. And so she, like, was in the wind. She had to leave her finishing school. And, like, no one knows what happened to her. But he's very clever, and in the portrait that her dead father pressed into his hand on the battlefield, she is wearing emeralds, and he's like, well, she's going to have to pawn these emeralds. So he's waiting for these emeralds to be pawned, and finally a pawn shop in like the worst neighborhood of London has them. Turns out she's like in a terrible situation there. And so he goes to find her, and has been, the reason why she's in a terrible situation is because she has been working for this like lady writer who was writing romances as her companion, like as her secretary. But then the lady writer died, and her terrible nephew tried to assault her. And so this woman the heroine ran. And now she's like stuck trying to write a dragon novel, like of her own, trying to get found. And he finds her, and he's like, I'm your guardian. I'm going to take care of you. And she's like, fuck you. And she pulls a pencil out of her hair and stabs him in the cheek.
Not fucking stabbing him again.
Gives him a whole new scar.
Absolute magic.
Does he go in a pencil coma?
Wait. No pencil coma. No. But then there are bad guys who show up at this moment. We're in chapter 2.
As it should be. Things happen.
Right? This is perfect.
Thank you.
There are bad guys who show up, and they're like, well, do you need our help? But it's clear that they're worse than he is. And so she's like, no, he's my brother. Like, there's a whole back and forth. And then they're running away. They're leaving. And she's like, wait, that's my good pencil. And it's on the ground. And he says, I'll buy you hundreds of pencils if you'll just come with me. And you'll never need anything again, even pencils. Like, I'll make sure that you have plenty of pencils. Just don't stab me with them. They get home, and it's just chaos. Like, there's this mystery room with this desk, and she dreams of writing at this desk. It has a beautiful picture window, and he's like, no one goes into this room.
Yeah, I love a hidden room.
She takes over the room, and she's just everything he says. He's like, you can't do that, and she's like, fuck you, I'm doing it. Stab you with a pencil, knee you in the groin, take your desk, move your mirrors.
Oh, I love that.
And then, of course, she's like, I love erotic texts, but I've never experienced any of this. Would you help me with my research? What does kissing feel like? And he's like, I'm your guardian. I mean, she's 20-something now. She's
sure, of course, it's fine.
Also a fiery redhead, because of course she is. And
is he 6 months older than her? And
exactly. And she's like, what does kissing feel like? And he's like, shut up. Don't ask me questions. I'm brooding. And then she's finally like, I'm going to kiss you. And then, of course, his dowdy aunt walks in and is like, well, now you have to marry. And she's like, no, I don't want to marry. And he's like, we have to marry. It's the rules. And now we're in chapter 5, and now they're married. It's
yay.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Allie. Yay. I had a great time. Can't get enough of The Duke by Lenora Bell. It is in trade paper, but it is a straight up mass market cover. And it came out last month, and everybody's going to have a great time.
You know, one of the things I think about a lot too is like when they just get married real early, you don't have to like play these games that you kind of do in historical where you're like, oh no, now the UPS man has rung the doorbell. We can never kiss again for 300 more pages, you know?
No,
I like it.
Lenora would never do that to you.
Thank you. Thank you, God.
And
Lenora.
for your patronage. All right. So wait, where are we at now?
I'm sorry. I need to talk about this book. Okay.
Let's give My Beautiful Enemy like a minute because then
we can give all of them.
Just like we'll do a speed round then.
Quick. Okay, my speed round choice is My Beautiful Enemy by Sherry Thomas. And the reason I really want to recommend it is that, first of all, it's my favorite Sherry Thomas, and Sherry Thomas is probably my favorite writer with Nalini Singh. Like, I am obsessed with her to the degree that I have befriended her, and she thinks I'm her stalker, and it's fine. I'm okay with it. So this book is very much an adventure book, but also it's like it has some very classic Regency / Victorian. Again, we have established that I don't know what history is, but like it's there is a London season and all of that. But at the same time, the main character is a half Chinese assassin who is basically super powered. If you like romantasy, this book is for you. It's just the most, like, I have never read a more enemies to lovers book than this one. I am just telling you that when the book opens, the two main characters meet for the first time in many years, and they're both shocked to see each other because they both think that they had killed the other person. But they used to be lovers too. So we have an sort of like dislike to lovers, to enemies. And when I say enemies, is they literally they were like, oh, I've killed this other guy who was the love of my life, but he deserved it, and now they are together again. And there is like this espionage / like just assassin going about the London town, and they both have to figure this out. They both have this like past that they are hiding. He is engaged to someone else, and that is just like delicious pain because she
Sherry
thinks that,
loves that.
My God, the angst. It's
the
just
angst.
Truly. And this book is the number 2 in a duology. You do not have to read the first one. I really like the first one, but it's more of an adventure coming of age book. It feels almost like a YA book where you learn how the main character became this like it's basically like the traditional like wuxia Chinese movies. That's how she became such a great fighter, because she really like she can kick ass. She's amazing. Again, like if you have never read a historical and you're like, I really loved Fourth Wing, this book is gonna you're gonna be obsessed with this book. It's just great.
It's very much like Girl with Knife. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. Like it. And one thing I love about, I think the romantasy, this is a perfect gateway from someone that loves romantasy.
Yes.
Because her arc is also like that kind of heroine who's isolated. It's kind of on this like a quest that is like secret. It's like all on her. And like she just can't trust anyone. And then like the person that she's supposed to trust the least is the person that ends up being her ally. It really is like, if you really love romance, like it is actually like a perfect entry into historical romance.
Absolutely, yes. It's heartbreaking. It's beautiful. And it's one of the things I think it's okay to share this, but I was talking to Sharon. I keep telling her how this is my favorite of her books, aside from her contemporary, which I also love. But and Sherry once told me that it hasn't sold, it's her least selling book. And it was the first time that she published a book in which, so Sherry is Chinese. Like, she grew up in China. She didn't move here until I think she was in her teens. And like, she told me that this was her least selling book, even though it was the first time that she actually wrote a Chinese character. And that is mind blowing to me. And I'm like, especially knowing that it really is one of her best works. And it just kind of, I just need, again, the same person who's about to go to book talk and like make passion blow up. Could you actually first do My Beautiful Enemy? Thank you. This is very important to me.
There you
I
go.
have to say, like, Sherry, she shared this, I think, at some point, that she tried, like, her first time to try to get published with a book that was like, with Chinese characters, and she could not get published, and so she ended up writing.
Yeah, I think this The Heart of the Blade, or I think of the number one in the duology might have been the first thing she has ever written or something. Like, this was a book that she sort of picked up later. And tried to make so that publishing would, give her characters a chance.
Yeah. I love Sherry Thomas. We all love Sherry Thomas.
Yeah.
In this space. She is also one of my favorite authors ever. No one does a second chance romance like Sherry Thomas.
No one. Yeah, that's true.
People that, truly, Tempting the Bride is my personal favorite. But which she doesn't like, and it's like heartbreaking to me. She's like, it was so hard to write that amnesia plot, but perfectly executed.
She's really good at writing characters who behave terribly if it makes sense for them to behave terribly.
Yes.
Right.
She doesn't shy away from that. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is something that I think is... I myself, when I'm writing, I'm like, what would Sherry Thomas do? And I wish I'm going to try to do it more and more, because I love it. She writes what makes sense versus what, people might complain about.
Yes.
But that is it, right? Like, it's fearlessness.
Yeah.
And that it runs through the whole subgenre. Like,
yes,
historical is about fearlessness in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, yes. And I just want to say, if you enjoy a book where he does the most awful things first, Not Quite a Husband by Sherry Thomas.
My God.
Is going, and that book has a lot going on, but he really does the absolute unforgivable first.
And if you enjoy somnophilia, also read Not Quite a Husband.
Also,
If you're a fan of an incubus,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I love you.
Okay.
Perfect
So,
book.
never mind.
No criticism, nothing. You can come to my house if you don't like Not Quite a Husband, and I will fight you and then feed you to my kids.
Martin.
A lot of fighting in this episode.
Mess with anybody, but not with him.
Well, it is historical,
Martin.
Jen.
All right. I'm really torn about what to do next, but I think I'm going to really go. I mean, we're like in old school land, so I just really want to talk about Devil's Bride by Stephanie Lawrence. And the thing I was thinking about is why was I recommending these? Like, why were these I wanted to talk about? And I feel like in some ways I understood that I was coming to this space like these are like sort of correctives to the thing that I think are boring in contemporary romance, right? And so one of the things I find incredibly boring, I'm like, why is this so boring, right? He's been into her all along. I just don't. I'm like, why am I reading this then? And then I was like, okay, but in Devil's Bride, basically what happens is you've got Devil Sinster, who's home from the war, and, he's a duke, and he's just basically like, I'm the master of the universe. And so
Call me devil.
Call me devil. I mean, it's just right there in the name, right? And the way this book opens is that he essentially is riding out on his horse on the lane, and whatever that means, and finds essentially himself... is it Honoria? I feel like I'm always pronouncing her name wrong. Anyway, and in she's out there. He saves her. They spend the night in the gamekeeper's cottage or whatever, and he is essentially like, this is the one, I'm going to marry her. So he's into her, and the whole rest of the book is her being like, I don't know. I just don't think you're really. That's not what I want. It's not what I want Frankly, it's just not what I want. And so he has to then be like, okay, but just give me a chance. Like, can't you just think about it? And it's not in like a thirsty or pathetic way, but he's just like, well, it's what I want. And then the whole rest of the book is like Clash of the Titans. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that to me is like, it's if he is into her all along, she has to be like, not sure you're really good enough for me. And that's what I want. And the whole rest of the book is her just, even at the point where they get married, she's like, oh, I guess. Right? You know what I mean? And the whole thing is just great. It's just the entire thing is just the two of them just like these two people are so self-assured, so confident, right? Even though it's also what's really interesting to me is like her situation is one where like, she's going to be a finishing governess because she's like, I think what I really want is a job. And you're kind of like, but you're rich. She's like, I don't care about that. I mean, it really is just so great. And so I think like for me, one of the other things about historical is you really see even women who like we all have been sort of trained to believe that like women in the past had less choices, less freedoms. You find that historical romance is going to serve you up these women who are like, I'm not going to put up with that. I will not bend to what you want from me or what society says I should have or who I should be. And that to me is like one of the most compelling things about historical is really watching like these characters who like, again, because of our like belief that we have more freedoms, we have more, right? And these women who are just like, no, that's not actually what I want. I'm going to live the life I want. And I guess if you prove yourself to me, then I will allow it. Right. And I think that to me is like one of the greatest things about this book. There's like a subplot where like, someone's trying to kill him and, she saves him a bunch of times. And, there's this amazing scene where they're already married and he's like with his cousin because he's always with his fucking cousins or brothers or something. This family just births man after man. They come out as men, and she like appears at the top of the stairs wearing essentially like a negligee that just has like covered with feathers. That's it. But she's so worried about Devil where he's been, and he's just like, well, you can't be out there wearing that. My brother, cousin is right there. And she's just like, but I was worried. She like runs down the stairs. And honestly, it's like the greatest scene in romance. It really is.
Also, shout out to Stephanie Lawrence for basically inventing the 25-page sex scene.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. All of that.
Okay. This was the series where she did the whole series and then she did the parents' story and he had cheated on her. I remember speed reading this series in like a month and loving it.
These are also men who are like, I am really into you, but I cannot feel love. And I love that.
Oh,
listen,
impossible to feel.
A+.
Not one
A+
feels a feeling.
Nothing. Yeah.
They have the man pain.
Yeah.
They have the man pain.
The man pain.
Respect the man pain.
I do.
Adriana, what do you got?
Well, I was gonna say Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins, which I feel everybody should read anyway.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm gonna go with my B because we already talked about Miss Bev. So I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite series ever, and it's really I'm gonna talk about the first book, but really you should just read all three because it's the same couple over the three books, and it really works better if you just read the three books. It's called The Enlightenment series by Joanna Chambers. And it is a series that I read at least 2 times a year. It is an series and it is so it's basically set in Regency, Scotland. And it is about this man who is David Lauriston, who is a solicitor. And this Viscount, the son of a Viscount, and it's like kind of their story. So it's very much like, why can't they be together? They cannot be together because one of them doesn't believe in love in general. 2, it's illegal. And 3, the other one is just like, he doesn't want to lose the life that he has built for himself. He has he's able to become a lawyer. And then now if he ends up kind of like getting together with this Viscount, everything's going to be destroyed. But the reason why I love this series a lot, it's because it really is one of those that like the stakes are upped in every book. Like every book, there is something, like it ends in something that like, there's no way this is going to work out. And at one point, like one of them almost dies. And so the characterization is amazing. The writing's amazing. The love story is so deep. I think is the reason why really works for women. I think is the reason, like, I like this specific series. That's like, if you have never read you should read this. It's because there's just something about like the way these men's like journeys and characterization is portrayed that just like really, really works for me. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like Scotland. I feel like always when Scottish men are depicted in historical, it's like they're like a brute in a kilt.
Sorry.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, is that a problem?
With that, but I just found it like fascinating to see like this like Edinburgh as like a place of like men who are businessmen. It was like a very specific time in Scotland because it was when like the only visit of the Prince Regent to Scotland. So like it was like there's like a piece of history there that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really love this series. I honestly think it's like probably one of the best series out there. And it's a great historical. So I'm going to recommend that. And so it's the first one's Provoked. The second one the first one's Beguiled. The second one's Provoked. The third one is Enlightened. And you should definitely read it. It is also incredibly hot.
I had never heard about it.
Oh my
I'm
God.
really excited about this.
The audiobooks are...
Is it hot from book one?
Yes. I mean, they're like the second chapter, there's like a blowjob scene in an alley.
Perfect.
A+.
Well, if I must subject myself to reading,
and it's
Alley
one of
blowjobs.
those where like there's like a hanging and like so they kind of meet on the road. They're both like in like on like this like he's going to Edinburgh and the other guy's going to London, so they kind of have like this hook up. They're never gonna see each other again, and of course, at a dinner party 2 months later, they end up together, and from there, it's like I can't stay away from you. Even though I don't believe in love, because my heart is destroyed.
Sure, of course.
And
perfect. You don't
Because
even have a
mundane.
heart. That's how it works.
I honestly read the series at least twice a year. Like I'm not even exaggerating.
Amazing. Well, my second pick is also is a newer author. This book came out last year, and it's also a devil because
Perfect.
why not? So, okay. This is A Deal with the Devil by Alexandra Harvey. And this is the book that this morning I was like, we could have so many more books about fathers gambling away their daughters. And instead, we don't.
We don't.
Instead, I'm reading the 43rd Friends to Lovers book I've read ever. So
for a second, I thought, and
last-
instead, we have a book in which a daughter gambles away her father.
well, that would
And
be
I was like,
great.
wait, tell me more.
No. So, okay, we have Kitty, who is our heroine, and she is a purveyor of erotic texts. She owns an erotic, she collects erotic books. She is a bookseller, but she has this like special back room where she sells erotic texts. And she has we open on something called Devil's Night, which is like a bacchanal run by an earl who calls himself Devil. The devil, he's known as the Devil of Mayfair. And at these nights, he like gambles and collects secrets, and he just is ruthless and brutal and very attractive. But he runs this Devil's Night. And as part of Devil's Night, this woman has like convinced the people who put it together to let her sell her like erotic books at this event. because her father is definitely going to go there, and her father is a compulsive gambler and has gambled away everything that they have, and is definitely that night planning to gamble away her younger sister, who is the most beautiful woman in London. So Kitty is there. She's there to sell these books, but really it's a ruse to like protect her sister. And what she realizes is that some shit is going down, and at one point, and like again, chapter 1, a body gets like tossed over the balustrade of this house and lands like dead or like broken next to her. He's not dead, I don't think. And she's like, oh shit, like this is not the right place for me to have my like book stall. So she like runs up the stairs, and she sort of runs into Devil, the man who keeps all the secrets, and she watches him put a voucher from like a wager into his like pocket, and then like she bangs into him and she pickpockets the voucher from him. And so now she has this like thing that she's stolen from him. Cut to the next, like, I don't know, like a couple weeks later, he's been searching for her because no one steals.
She stole from him.
No one steals from the Devil of Mayfair.
It's very Derek Craven coded.
Yeah, right.
It's Derek Craven coded. It also is a little bit Thea Harrison.
That right, the
like,
Dragonbound, right?
Like where
Yes.
like no one steals from me. And so he finds her. He happens to be outside her house on the morning that her youngest sister is supposed to be like literally packed up and shipped to Gretna Green with this man who has won her in a game of cards from her father. And this man has had 3 wives in 3 years, and they have all died in like mysterious ways.
No bueno.
And so Kitty is like, fuck this. So she takes her sister and she's like, you have to crawl out the window. You have to go out the window. And the sister's like, but I have a pet hedgehog. What do I do? And so the sister and the hedgehog are like out on, like in a cage, are out on the roof. And then like Kitty is out on the roof with them because like bad shit is happening in the house. Like they are looking for them. And the devil, is down on the ground, just watching. He doesn't step in. He doesn't go to save them. He's just watching them as they climb across the rooftops. Everybody knows I love a rooftop. Climb across the rooftops of their house, like through their neighbors' like rooftops, to get to like a neighbor where there's like he's just installed like a brand spanking new, like no one's ever heard of it, fire escape down to the garden so they can get away. So they do, and then they're like running through the streets of London, and then he like stops them, and he's like, he stops them like on the run. And he's like, hey, Miss Kitty, you have something of mine and no one steals from me. And that through like a confluence of events, like there's like chaos, and there's some spinsters who arrive to like help save the day. And there's a sort of tussle, and he realizes that she doesn't have any shoes on, that she like was rushing to get out of the house so quickly that she didn't put on shoes. And this man who has never felt a feeling is like, why isn't she wearing shoes? Like, it enrages him that like she has her like feet. Like he can't stop thinking about the fact that she's not wearing shoes. And then basically what she does is she's like, yes, I did steal from you. And I know now like what your secrets are. I know how to access your secrets, and I am going to continue to do this and reveal to everyone the truth of you if you don't help me save my sister from this terrible man. And so then the two of them, it's also like a mystery where they're trying to like prove that this man has murdered his wives. And it is great. These are like, she is like fiery and brilliant, and like it's super sexy because, of course, like they both know a lot about sex, and it's just really fun. And also there's like chaos and people chasing them and like danger, and it's so fun. There's such like a big, story here. There's a big plot here. And he can't stand how she consumes his thoughts. And she finds him just contemptible in every way. But of course, they are just hot for each other.
Amazing.
Perfect. So
This-
that
I mean-
is Alexander Harvey's A Deal with the Devil.
Light plot. That's historical. Just like a light plot. 7,500 things happening.
At
You're in
once.
chapter
That's
4.
what I want.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're in chapter 4.
Blackmail as meet cute.
You gotta love it.
So that is that. I do have one more question for everybody before we go, and that is in honor of the AH2 collection, the Historical Trailblazers collection. If you could choose one more book to add to the collection, what would it be?
A Julie Garwood.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
Alec Kincaid. Yeah, I'd love that. I have worn
the
out.
original mine. The original
Yes,
mine.
I have worn out multiple copies of that book. Yeah.
I mean, I expect Allie to say something, so I'm gonna reserve my answer.
I was actually thinking, I really do love Julie Garwood. My favorite is, I don't remember if it's a Dear Ransom or Ransom.
Ransom.
And I would love that. I don't know what you expect me to say. I also don't know what to say.
I thought you were gonna say My Beautiful Enemy by Carrie Thomas.
Yeah, Sherry Thomas.
Well, I just talked about it, so it's like.
But remember, this is to add to our collection.
Like if we did
No,
a-
that's
yeah.
true. I just kind of,
Or The Womb Piercer, aka Mark.
Okay, maybe something by Meredith Duran. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Oh, a good one.
Yeah.
Also super bonkers, super fun, super weird. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Galen Foley. Galen Foley. Her books, bonkers. The Duke.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
but
princess
probably
is the one where he like
princess
breastfeeds from her.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he's
On the
so into
reg.
her. Probably though, yes, it probably would be a Sherry Thomas. It probably would be, I don't know which one.
Look, not quite a husband to me. Well, because Tempting the Bride's Heart, even though it's my favorite because it is the third one.
It's
in
a
the
third.
series.
So I mean, honestly, Beguiling the Beauty, bonding over dinosaur fossils. It's my jam.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
they're having sex for the entire time that they're crossing the freaking Atlantic. He doesn't see her face.
Which is
That's right.
it's very Beast by Judith Ivory coded, and
Yes,
that is
yes.
also a favorite of mine. I don't know,
Yes.
you guys. I pass because I am unable to make a decision. So I make all of these decisions.
Perfect segue from my answer, which is The Proposition by Judith Ivory, because that's it. That's
Yeah.
Mitch, the rat catcher,
Mick
is
Tremor.
actually the hero, the mustachioed hero that we all need in romance. Like, imagine that man on an end paper, okay, in a clinch cover.
That man refers to his mustache as his lion-hearted virility.
Yeah. Yeah.
I support you all in this. I do.
I love that book. He has a little dog named Magic. He has a ferret. It's
He's
like
obsessed with her legs.
Obsessed with her legs.
That's with
Yeah,
her
it's true.
calves. With her calves, he is
Hasn't even seen the
erotic.
whole leg.
Just the calf. Just a little bit of ankle and calf, and he's like beside himself. That would be my addition, The Proposition by Judith Ivory.
Yeah. And my pick is Judith McNaught's A Kingdom of Dreams.
Yeah, that's a great
I mean,
answer.
for about
Yeah.
1,000 rules that get broken during that book, but also
Yes.
because on the reread in 2026, which I do, regularly, the way that woman comes hard for toxic masculinity, like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
text, the hero is like, fuck toxic masculinity. Oh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. That's a good one.
Oh my God, the art that we could do for that book. That scene when her family fucks them up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
well,
god!
the original step back of that book is the close up of the two of them, and it's just their heads I mean, we'll put it in, you guys, we'll put this in show notes and I'll text it to you. It is
It's
the
amazing.
most
Yeah.
beautiful step back I've ever seen. And
what a
the
book.
The art.
That
Bring back
book-
step backs.
That
Bring
book
back-
taught
we
me
need
English.
actually. Yeah.
Yep.
That book hit there's no audiobook for that book.
I know.
Oh. Okay.
Which one was the one where he's a genius and she's also a genius, but she's very pretty? Is it Almost Paradise?
You mean the contemporary? It's a contemporary?
No, his name is Ian, I think. I forgot what her name is. Anyway, whatever. I have
name's
to
Ian.
go
I mean,
on
come on.
read.
There's like
Anyway.
3 historical romance names. It's like Ian, Sebastian,
Devil.
Devil. That's it. That's
And
it. There's
you know
only
what?
3 names to pick from. That's it.
Can I add an add-on? If we had a box set and we had an add-on, but just because the Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie, I think
my
is
God.
also a trailblazing
that's-
book.
Yes.
A perfect thing for you to say because
That's our next.
Actually, I think it's probably
Oh, it already
done.
just happened.
We just did a deep dive of the Madness of Lord
It's,
Ian
to
Mackenzie.
me, that is a trailblazing romance.
A tremendous book. And up there with Flowers from the Storm in a lot of ways, I think, for me.
It's it really was one of those books that when I read it, I was like, I've never read anything like this. And since then you have a lot of different, like you have a lot more like neurodiversion and like kind of like an understanding of mental illness. But that book did it
Also
first.
so sexy. That book.
So sexy. Oh my God. The characterization in that book on both the hero and the heroine are amazing.
And if you want a hero, if you love a hero who is down bad,
Down
from
bad.
the jump.
Yeah.
I gotta reread that.
But also, I cannot love. I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying I won't. I'm saying I can't.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. It's impossible. Right? You might as
Don't
well
ever ask
listen.
me. Don't
you
ever ask
would
me.
have better luck sending a man into a store and having him come out with the right brand of tampons than these men falling in love. Right? It can't do it. It cannot be done.
Oh, God, I love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
Well,
Anyway.
everybody, you better get on this
Well,
historical
here's to
trailblazer
giant
box. That's all I have to say.
penises And enemies to lovers and selling your sister into marriage.
Girls with knives. We got it all, baby. Just come over.
Listen, whatever you love in romantasy, we got it.
Absolutely. We don't have dragons, but we got wolf dogs.
Hey, Lenora Bell's heroine is writing a romantasy. It's right there in the text. The beginning, the
And
chapter headers
exactly.
are all romantasy.
And
a lot of
hedgehogs
these,
are dragons, basically.
and a lot of these horses are like dragons, like
Yes.
Dane's horses.
Yes, exactly. Right? Exactly.
Exactly. Yep. Well, all right. As a reminder to everyone, we are here to celebrate the Historical Trailblazers Kickstarter from AH2 Productions. You can find it right now on Kickstarter. Links are in show notes, and also you can find. We'll have a big link on Fated Mates as for the next month. You can find it here. You can find it on Instagram at Fated Mates Pod. You can find it on the AH2 Instagram, which is what, you guys?
It's A Squared Romance Collections.
Okay. And so we'll put links to obviously everything in show notes. We are so excited because we are Fated Mates and we are here with Ali Hazelwood and Adriana Herrera. And if you love historical as much as we love historical, you are going to be over the moon with this collection. We are so excited to be a part of it. This is Fated Mates. You can find us every Wednesday wherever you listen to your podcasts or at fatedmates.net. Thanks, everyone. Go read a historical. Come back and tell us what bonkers thing happened in it. Love you.